Good morning, Math 6. Hello, guys. How y'all doing? Hope your test yesterday was spectacular and fabulous. I didn't hear anything as far as questions or anything like that, so I'm assuming it went well. Today, we are starting a new chapter. This has to do with conversions, whether it's linear or weight or volume. Don't worry, I'll go over all that as we go along. Today, we're talking about linear measurements. And these are measurements that we're all super familiar with, but again, the proportion matters. We are going to be changing from one measurement or one form of measurement to another. But first, we need to start with our basic equivalence. So notice how we're starting at our smaller units and we're getting progressively bigger and bigger and bigger. So these all represent the primary, the conversion rate. So if we're converting anything from inches to feet, this is what we're going to start. We know that 12 inches are in a foot. If we're converting from feet to yards or feet to miles, well, these are the two different conversion rates that we're going to be using. It is important that you have this memorized. Whether it's flashcards or you just drill it in your head, it is important to have these numbers memorized. There will be times where, like a test, where you're given an example like he walked 3 miles. How many feet was that? Well, then you would use this to solve that answer. If you don't know this number, you're not going to be able to solve it. Okay. Now, we rename our measurements, like I was saying, by either multiplying or dividing. When we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so if we were converting miles to feet, right? Miles are larger than feet. We're going to multiply. We're going to multiply by this number. There are 5,280 feet in a mile. So we're going to multiply. If I walked 3 miles, we're going to multiply 3 miles by 5,280 to figure out how many feet he walked. It is going to be a lot. That's upwards of, close to 16,000 feet. Okay, that's a lot of feet. But again, you probably take, in one step, you walk 2 or 3 feet. So it's not quite the same as saying I walked 15,000 miles, right? So if I walked 3 yards, how many inches is that? Well, the ratio, right, that standard proportion is inches to yards. So I'm going to take my ratio. There's 36 inches in 1 yard. And I'm going to multiply it by the measure that I'm given. That's this guy right here. 36 times 3 is 108 inches. So in 3 yards, there are 108 inches. Booyah. And again, a simple multiplication. Okay. If we're going from smaller units to larger, we're going to divide. How many, if we have 50 inches, how many feet is that? Well, we're going to divide. These are our given measurements. This is the ratio, right? 12 inches per 1 foot. So we divide. We figure out that is either 4.16 bar feet or 4 feet and 2 inches. Right, that's 4 feet. 4 feet, 2 inches. In this case, any of these would have been the appropriate answer. So whatever works easiest for you guys, okay? Now, there's going to be a lot of problems where we're adding and subtracting. For example, at first I walk, 12 feet and 5 inches, and then I take another 5 feet and 3 inches. How far did I walk, right? So that's just an example. Here's the first one where we're going to be adding. So let's say we're adding 3 yards, 22 inches to 16 inches. Now, the case here, it's not just simple addition, because when we get to a point where we're at 36 inches, well, we know that this carries over. We know because of our equivalence up here that 38 inches is 1 yard and 2 inches. So that's going to carry up. Then we're going to add all these. So again, we're going to carry over as soon as we fill up a yard, in this case, with how many inches we have, right? Because 22 and 16 don't fill up a yard, right? They're less than the 36 inches, which do fill up a yard. However, 38 fills up the yard. So I need to carry over 1. 1 plus 3 plus 2 is 6. And I'm left with 6 yards and 2 inches. Again, this 1 yard, 2 inches, that's 38 inches is 1 yard and 2 inches. So I'm going to carry this yard over, giving me a total of 6 yards and 2 inches. Right, this is my answer here. Okay. I've got another example. This one's subtraction. So let's see. I start with 3 feet 18 inches. Well, I'm sorry. I start with 4 feet 6 inches minus 1 foot 8 inch. Well, when I'm subtracting, I can't have 8 inches take away from 6 inches. So that's why I've converted and borrowed. So I've taken out one of my feet, right? This went to 3. This 3 feet 18 inches, right? So I've subtracted 1 foot from here and added 12 inches, right? I've subtracted 1 from here, giving me 3 feet. Well, when I subtracted that 1 foot, I added 12 inches. So 6 plus 12 is 18 inches. Now I can subtract. 18 minus 8 is 10 inches. 3 feet minus 1 is 2 feet. So the answer is 2 feet 1 inches. Again, I converted from here and borrowed it in my inch category. Okay. I've got a few practice problems for you guys. While working on this at home, go ahead and pause it right here, and then I'll show you the answers. And now I'll show you the answers. Again, notice here how I have added up to equal 12 inches. Well, 12 inches is 1 foot. So I'm going to carry that over and give myself 11 feet. I did the same thing over here. I ended up with 4 feet. Going to carry that over into 1 yard. Okay. Now, in both of these, 3 and 4, I'm starting at these numbers. But again, I can't subtract 5 inches minus 8 inches, nor can I subtract 5 inches minus 9 inches. So I'm converting one of my yards in this case, or one of my feet in this case, and I'm carrying over from yards to inches. I'm carrying over 36, so here I'm adding 36 to 5, giving me 41. Or here I'm adding 12 to 5, giving me 17, right? Because there's 12 inches in a foot, 36 inches in a yard. And then I subtract, subtract, subtract. Now here what I've done is I've converted my inches to feet. So now I have yards, feet, and inches, even though I just start with yards and inches. The lowest, or rather, if you can convert, make sure you do. All right. Well, I love you guys a bunch. Hope this makes sense. Please comment and or email me if you have any questions. Otherwise, I love you very much. Bye.